What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode 65 of the Dunk Talk podcast. My name is Dylan Haugen. I'm the host, and today I'm here with my co-host Hunter and a fellow Midwest dunker, Nolan Larson. So, Hunter, introduce yourself. Then we'll get to Nolan, guys.
Hey guys, I'm Hunter Castona, 6'1" dunker from Wisconsin, and we finally have one of my dunk squad guys here, Nolan Larson. So if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Yo, what's up? I'm Nolan Larson. I'm 5'9", 5'10" in shoes, from Wisconsin, born and raised, grass-fed, all that. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I feel. Were you at Dunk Game in 2022?
Yes, because that's where I first saw some of your stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I believe it was 22, 23, and then skip 24, and then 25 in Wisconsin.
I don't know. You didn't come to 20.
Maybe I went to 21.
Because that was my first one. My first one was 23, and that's where I met all the Wisconsin guys from. And you were I remember I met you like beforehand, not in person, but we talked on social media, and I found out you weren't coming.
True.
And then that's how I met like Jeff, JJ, CJ, stuff like that. So that's kind of how our squad got.
Yeah, the Utah. Dude, Utah thing was interesting because when I showed up, I don't think it was 21 because 21 was my first one. I was a wee boy. I think I was about Dylan's age. Dylan, you're about to graduate high school, right?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I was about your age going to dunk camp for the first time, and that was awesome. But the second year is where Jeff, pretty sure CJ, was CJ at 22? I don't really remember.
I don't think so. Not sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I remember Jeff being there, and I didn't even know he existed until I was just talking to dunkers, and someone else was like, "Oh, Jeff is from Wisconsin." I'm like, "What? Let me go talk to this dude." And dude, just hit it off ever since then. All the Wisconsin boys are awesome. Dude, love the Wisconsin boys.
100%, yes.
100%.
Dude, I miss me and CJ are obviously the ones that have the sessions the most right now. But dude, I miss everybody when we had those like couple group sessions with everybody.
Dude,
man, that was so much fun. But yeah, we'll get into that stuff. But
yeah, hopefully next time we'll be able to have a true joint session. I know he talked about doing that for forever with Minnesota and Wisconsin, but gotta make that happen. Definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, the reason I brought it up is because I do like vividly remember meeting Nolan at 2022 dunk camp. And then obviously got to see him again last year at the Wisconsin dunk camp, which was super cool as well. We hit like back-to-back legendary dunks in the dunk show, so we'll get into that for sure.
Oh God, dude, yeah.
So obviously haven't seen Nolan as much, so I really want Hunter to do a lot of the hosting today, just because these guys are close. They've dunked a lot. They live near each other. But yeah, we'll just hop right into it as always. Just walk us through, Nolan, some of the first sports you did, just your athletic background as a kid mainly.
Yeah, so as a kid, I always played outside, was always running around. I believe good jumping genetics, other than like tendon length and stuff like that. I believe it all starts when you're like 4 years old to 12, because I low rimmed a lot, like the mini hoops. We saw Nate's progression. He was doing mini hoops since he was however old, except he was recording it. I'm sure you guys were doing a similar thing. I was doing that always. Like, one of my buddies had this sunroom, and it was a nasty setup for a mini hoop. Like, the doors were right in the middle of it. We cleared all the furniture out, made sure the TV was far away. And he had this LeBron poster. This is like 2011 when he went to the Heat. So like, he had this LeBron poster of him dunking, and I'm like, dude, that looks so sick. And I would just dunk on his mini hoop. And then eventually it would lead to, we would have lunch, and there would be a lunch tray, and I would try and jump over a lunch tray. Then I'm like, let's get 2, jump over 2. Let's get 3, jump over 3. And this is when I'm like 9, 10, maybe even younger. But aside from all that, as for the sports, if it had a ball, name it, I did it. I tried to do as much as I could. Very competitive. I love any type of competitive sports. So like, I did baseball, did football, did basketball, did golf, soccer, played a lot of soccer, but not organized. Like, I went to a daycare. So I was fighting to be top dog at that daycare, went over the pretty teachers. But yeah, tried to play every sport imaginable and tried to be the best at it. And I don't think I got an Xbox till I was like 13. So all I would do is just run around and do stuff. But I always gravitated towards jumping, always, since a kid.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I think out of all the people we've talked to that are like super elite, that is a super common trend. And I point it out every single time. I just always like to point it out because if you're listening to this and you are around that age or just you're young in general, you hear it from Nolan, you hear it from me, you hear it from literally anyone. So go out there and just enjoy life, go jump. But yeah, so as you're growing up, I know those are some of the sports you played when you were like really young. What kind of took over in like your middle school, high school days?
It was definitely football, basketball, and baseball because I was not at daycare anymore as a middle schooler and high schooler. Wish I was. But yeah, it was those three sports. Every single one of them was year round. So, like, my week would look like we'd have games of whatever season we're in. And then, let's say it's basketball season, we would have workouts for football in a gym. And then we would have workouts for baseball, and then I would have 2 games a week, and then, like, our travel team, it wasn't really AU, but we played against AU teams, it was, like, our town team. So, did a lot of that, but I would say, like, jumping and dunking, it was always, like, in the forefront of my mind, because going over to especially in the summer, going over to friends' houses who had lowerable hoops, like, it was it was the best times of my life. 95 degrees. Everyone else is sitting drinking water after playing games and stuff, having a good time, and I'm just out there dunking. Since I can remember, and I just found immense joy in slamming hard, jumping as high as I could, and trying new things. And I played 3 sports all the way up until COVID hit my junior year, and I would have continued to play all sports throughout high school. That's a lie. I wouldn't have done basketball senior year because I found myself during practice looking forward to pre-practice and post-practice more than practice because that's when I would try and dunk.
Yeah.
And I wasn't playing much, which it's fine. It's in the past. No big deal. Totally not beat up over it. But no, that's good. But for real though, like, I would just look forward to the dunking more. And I figured this is what I want to spend my time with. And actual organized basketball for high school is preventing me from committing to it. And I would say my junior year, when I stopped high school basketball, like, dunking really took over for me. Hardcore.
Yeah. As for your first dunk, I know you mentioned that in high school you're looking forward to the beginning and end. So I'm assuming you got your first dunk in high school. Tell us your first dunk story, how tall you were, just everything about it.
Yeah, man. So I was trying to get my first dunk ever since being a freshman. I was able to grab onto the rim and hang with one hand as of freshman year. And freshman year, I could look at my driver's license. I think in my driver's license sophomore year, I was 5'7", I think it said. And sophomore year, got my first dunk. It was going into my junior year. But yeah, during all the practices, post practices, just destroying my legs, trying to get it. And it was a really cool setting that I got my first dunk in. I was at my local Y, that's 2 minutes away from my house. And it's where I grew up playing basketball, where I learned, where I would practice dunking a golf ball, then a tennis ball, then a volleyball, stuff like that. And my first dunk, we had a bunch of my high school friends there. We were playing games, and I was feeling good after a game. And I was like, all right, can you guys give me a lob? And at this point, so many people have given me lobs, and so many people have been sick of it because they're like, dude, you're not getting that. You're like the damn near the shortest person here. Can I swear? Can I say damn? But I was damn near the shortest person there, and people knew I could jump, but like dunking seemed out of the question. And I'm sure you guys at one point or at some point have all experienced that kind of doubt coming from others in regards to dunking. And especially being a shorter guy, it just seemed out of the question. But I had some friends who were willing to throw me lobs after a game. The adrenaline's going. try to, I think it was like 2 or 3 attempts, couldn't get it. And I had one of my other buddies who at the time I think was like 6'1" ish. Now he's 6'3" or 6'4", but he was maybe 6'1", lanky guy, not the craziest vertical, but his arms are insanely long. And you guys know how much standing reach matters. He had a standing reach, I'll tell you that. But yeah, man, a few attempts, I'm like, feels really good. And he was trying as well and just got the perfect attempt. I still remember which hoop it is. There's 6 hoops in that gym. I remember exactly what hoop it was. Had all my buddies around me, not recorded because I wasn't really recording much at that time. But yeah, man, I got it. And it was like an electric jolt through my body. It's just crazy. I'm getting like chills thinking about it because it was a moment that kind of made me believe. And it made other people around me believe too. And everyone else around me is the people who I would play basketball with in high school and middle school and elementary school. These are my close teammates and friends who I still talk to this day. And they all got to witness it and we were freaking out. And then my 6'1" friend goes the next attempt and he gets it too. His first dunk as well.
Oh, wow.
It was an amazing scene. I'll never forget it. He probably never forgets it. Shout out Sean. Yeah, man, it was just awesome. And since that moment, like I got it back to back. And I've told a lot of people this. Hunter's heard me say this, especially when practicing the win and practicing other like kind of trick dunks and stuff. Like in my experience, this is just anecdotal, but when you're trying to get something like a certain dunk and you get it once, like talking first windmill, first double pump, first East Bay, stuff like that, it's held true for me. But the thing is, when you get it once, your body and your brain, one, believe that it's possible and know that it's possible. And two, your body just understands the movement and understands the feeling. And there's been so many dunks and me helping other people get dunks where you can do it back to back. And I got it back to back too. And it just reconfirmed my belief. I'm like, wow, that felt amazing. Yeah. And it felt better than I ever could have imagined. And at that point, I had no idea where I would go, where I would take dunking for myself. Yeah, man. Ever since then, I've just been, at that time, obviously been trying to jump higher. I was in the weight room. I was on THP, I think I had 2 stints with THP. Like I went all in, especially when I quit basketball. Like I went all in and it was just money. It was so fun. So fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to go along with saying is like, how was your training leading up to that? Did you do any training, like anything in the weight room, or was this literally all just from jumping and then just get into, if it was just from jumping, start getting into like how you started training to jump higher? And obviously you said you were on THP. So talk about when you first started doing that and just all your weight room numbers and stuff like that.
Oh man. Yeah. As far as leading up to my first dunk, I wasn't really in the weight room much at all. Like maybe sometimes for football and with a bunch of sophomore high schoolers at a small school who are all friends since they've been little. It's a lot of goofing off in the weight room, but some of the most fun times. But it wasn't like real serious training at that age, like freshman and sophomore year. But once I got that dunk and realized it was possible, during the summers for football, we had this one guy named Brad Fitzke. He's trained a couple NFL players through high school, getting them through college, and then trains them even in the NFL. He trained a Rams player. Like he knows what he's doing, but we were doing these like kind of CrossFit type of workouts, but using weights. And he knows ball for sure when it comes to the weight room. But that's when I started to notice my vertical really go up. And I started to measure stuff. And I'll be completely honest, I really couldn't recall a ton of my numbers. All I know is the max that I ever squatted, I think like my sophomore year of college, was 365 for 3, I think. I have always had good legs, strong legs, like even as a wee boy, because my grandpa would always take me on bike rides. And we would go on these long bike rides and just continuously try and go longer and further, go up harder hills and stuff like that. But yeah, so once I realized the effect of weightlifting, like that, I think the summer of my first dunk, it was like right before we started that summer, I got my first dunk. It was around probably like June or July. And then end of July going into August, we were training at Brad Fitzky's place. And that's when I started to notice like, oh, okay, this is crazy. Like the gains were just going up. And I didn't think I could jump that much higher. I just thought I had to get taller. Honestly, that's what I thought at the time. And so yeah, did that for a bit. And then sometime in my junior year, I noticed THP. I had known who Isaiah Rivera was for a long time. And throughout the winter, or like throughout the fall and the winter of my junior year, I started just working out by myself in the weight room because the Brad Fitzky place in the summer, like it stopped because then sports like really picked up. So I was doing it on my own. I was doing these plyometrics. I was looking at all these Instagram accounts, like teaching people how to jump higher, trying to get the free version of their program, trying to go on Reddit, trying to find a bootlegged version of all of these jump training packs. And I would just take bits and pieces that I liked and that I felt would benefit me. At the time, I was doing a lot of plyos. And looking back on it, I was just doing insane amounts of volume with weight just because I didn't know better. And I was young, malleable. My body was able to handle it. And I would have to go and look back at the photos to remember the exact months and stuff. But there was a point in time where I went from my first two-hander, I think, to my first East Bay was like a month or two. Like,
what?
So this is like where it's crazy though, because then I started to record like my one-handers and stuff, like getting better and stuff. And in my junior year, there was this one mix that I posted. I think it might have been my first mix, like with music and stuff that I posted on my TikTok, or one of the first ones. And I posted it on my Instagram. And in this session, like all in a row, I hit an insane one-hander with my sweatshirt still on. Like it was warming up. And I was like, oh, I've never felt this before. And then I did another one-hander. I'm like, all right, let me try two hands. And I swear I caught the ball at 10-7, 10-8, and arms fully extended and just brought it down. And I'm like, all right, I've never jumped like this before. Now's the time to like really go crazy. And all in a row, I hit two windmills, hit a through the legs. I hit my first reverse two-hand windmill. I hit an insane double pump. It's honestly my best double pump to date. And it was like the first one I did. Like the style on it was nuts. And it was such a like bendy rim. So it just looked nasty. And I ended up dunking. It was like a 3-hour session where it just felt like my vertical didn't change since my second jump, the whole 3 hours. And I posted this mix to Instagram, and all of a sudden I see Isaiah Rivera comments on it, John THP comments on it, Jay Clark posts comments on it, and they like it. And then they start following me. And I'm like, hold on, these are all of my idols, like starting to recognize me. And all of them are like, whoa, where did you come from? Because even since I was getting rim graze, what time is that?
This
November
is
7th,
November
2020.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Nah,
and even
see
CJ
CJ's
Champion,
coming on
yeah,
here.
geez, where did
That's
you
what I'm
come
saying.
from? That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And it was
Oh, that reverse
like
pump is wild. Yeah.
It was the reverse pump coming from the baseline. I don't know which one it was, but you can see like the style on these were just crazy. And that's the two-hander.
Dude,
Like,
I remember watching this video
how
too.
old were you at the time?
2020 would be, I think, November 2020. I think I was 17.
Oh wow,
I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
this is
was
ridiculous.
one of the first ones that I posted. And I remember
wild.
going home and telling my mom, like, you won't believe what I just did, because she's my biggest fan. Her and her twin, they're my biggest fans like ever. They came to Utah with me, and they were super sick during Utah. Like, as soon as they landed, they caught something. It might have been totally could have been COVID at the time, but who knows? But they were super sick and they still came out to watch me dunk. And so I went home to my mom and I'm like, hey, I, this was like the best day of my life. Because as you saw with that mix, like these dunks, they were like destroyed too. And I've just never, at that point, never dunked like that. And it's such a memorable session. And I will say there's one caveat with having a session like that, especially with the younger people. And I know, Dylan, you've been dunking for a while, but I've tried to offer this advice to some of the other guys who are just a little bit younger than me. When you have a session like that for the first time, you expect to jump like that every time, especially like at the time, THP wasn't as big as they are now. They've learned a lot in the last 5 years since that. And that was I think that was like a week or two before I joined THP. Because after that, when they all noticed me and I felt like I could really do this, like I said, like I really committed, that's when I joined THP. But the advice I would offer to any of the younger dunkers watching is like, when you have a session like that, and then your next session, you don't jump as high, the dunks aren't going down as well, maybe you get injured. That's what happened to me. I went to the same hoop and I'm like, okay, let's try J Rich now. And like I was trying to J Rich for an hour and injured my groin. And I went home really beating myself up. Man, why couldn't I do that again? And it's just not how it works. And I didn't really lock that into my brain until 2023, 2022. It took me a long time to really realize that. There were a lot of good sessions. There were a lot of bad sessions. And after the bad sessions, I would get so in my head, so upset. Man, people are going to notice in this next mix that I post that I'm not jumping as high. It's not as good. Like all of these thoughts. And the advice I would offer is be patient, man. Because like when you overdo it, it can really bite you in the butt. It can. And
definitely,
it's you have time. You do. You're 17 doing stuff I couldn't imagine at 17, right? So like I'm sure you've heard it from other people, and you're at the age for sure way more advanced than I was, not only in dunking skill and I guess achievements, but knowledge wise. So I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've experienced it. But the advice I would say is please play the long game, please, and never beat yourself up after a bad session. I know it's way easier said than done because we as dunkers, I'm sure you're pretty competitive yourself. You play basketball. Like we want to do our best every time and we expect the best out of ourselves. But when it comes to dunking and you're jumping as high as you can, you're doing a max lift over and over. And it's not just a max lift. It's hand-eye coordination, it's concentration, it's the temperature of the gym, it's the shoes that you're wearing, possibly the socks you're wearing, the shorts. There's so many factors, and sometimes it's just not your day, which is fine. And I would have saved myself so many like angry and upset nights if I could have just known that at that age. So that's a big piece of advice that I wish I knew when I was younger. But yeah, man, that first mix really set things off for me, at least in the social media space. I would say set things off. I still only have 2,000 followers just because I don't post much, but I never really did. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that's super cool. The good days definitely do screw some things up, but I think again another big piece of advice as well is to not like try the same thing, especially let's just say you have a really good session like the one you had, and then the next week you try to go and do all the exact same dunks. That can be really frustrating when like you did an East Bay this week and you can't do it next week. But if you keep repping the same dunk out when you're jumping lower, you can build bad habits and stuff. I've done that so many times. Like I'm having a bad day and I'm just like so pissed off. But instead of going and trying new things that like don't require me to jump as high, I try the same thing that I've already done. Bro, you've already done this hundreds of times. There's no reason to continue doing it. But yeah, I really like the point you brought up earlier about the kind of excitement for your first dunk. I think that is something that isn't talked about too much. Obviously, people talk about the excitement behind their first dunk, but I think it's not even necessarily the first dunk, but more so when you hit a dunk that you like didn't really know or do anything that you didn't quite know was possible. Like for me, definitely first dunk was one of them that was just in shock because obviously you've never done it before. But like another one was East Bay. I know I hit that with Hunter. That was a moment that I'll never forget. And just because the difference between a windmill and an East Bay is a lot different. Realistically, they're not like that much different, but you have to transfer the ball under your leg. It's kind of got that reputation of being like one of the hardest dunks. I know that was one. And then obviously I know another moment like that for you would likely be winning Wisconsin. And then right after that was hide and seek for me. That was like an entirely different feeling because that was like the most perfect hide and seek out of anyone ever. It was just like almost lucky at that point. And so that was another moment for sure. But I think that's a really funny thing.
Yeah. Oh man, I will say one thing. It's your hide and seek. In my head, it's like a curse on my dunk because till the day I die, every time that I see my win, I'm always like, damn. And after that, Dylan hit the hide and seek every time. It's like in my memory and in the phone memory, it's paired up with it. So it's like
I think it was literally back to back. Was there anyone else in between?
I'm almost
I think it's like pretty
one
close
or
to being
two.
back to back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there might have been like yeah.
It was
crazy.
and a part of me not feels bad, but a part of me wishes that they were way more separated because I think the reaction of all the dunkers around you would have been a little bit different if, let's say, I hit it really early on and you hit it way later because it was oh man, it's really interesting because I remember thinking, I'm like, I know people went crazy over mine. Like I don't remember who recorded the video where the audio peaked out. I don't remember who it was, but then I remember like at dunk camp, I'm like, dude, people should probably be going almost more crazy over yours. And it just seemed like they were so close together that I don't know, in my brain, like I said, I remember them paired. The
Yeah.
two moments are paired together. And I'm sure for a lot of people it was. And a part of me wishes that it was separated because I feel like the crowd and especially at that point, I really didn't care about the crowd because I had all of the dunkers that I was friends with, everyone who knew the backstory with the win, especially the Wisconsin guys. Like they were all around me going crazy. And those are the people who truly understand how insane those two dunks are. And it's screw the crowd, whatever. Crowd was cool. But I don't know. I remember thinking, being by my tripod, looking at the video and seeing you hit that, and people did go crazy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I just thought people should have gone more crazy. And I can't help but think, oh,
I was trying to find the actual one from Wisconsin, but
it's not on IG
because this one will have to do.
Yeah, that one was.
So that was the one that we hit.
9-9.
I think it was 9-9 or 9-9 and a quarter or something like that. But the other thing with those two dunks too is a lot of people that were there don't understand what you guys just hit.
No,
Nolan's people were like, oh, that was just like an East Bay or something. Like obviously they've seen that motion before, but obviously it's not even close to that. And then Dylan's, they just saw him like do, again, I don't know what normal people think about this, but that's also probably another reason why they didn't go maybe as crazy, is because they just don't know what they're watching. Half these people like literally have no clue what people are doing. There's a lot of people that when I talk about East Bays versus J Riches versus inverters and all that stuff, they all think it's the exact same thing. And then you have to break it down to them, and then they're like, oh, that is different.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people just don't know even what they just saw, because obviously we do it so fast too. So it's like they just don't understand like we do. Obviously, like all the dunkers went insane because they know what we just hit. But then obviously those normal people are like, oh, that was probably a crazy dunk because everybody's going crazy, but they just didn't know. So that's another thing I think that
I don't really blame them though, because mine low-key like would not look very impressive if like you didn't know what it was, because mine was kind of like a rim grazer. Obviously it's crazy because it's the youngest person to do it, maybe one of the shortest, but like I do understand that, like, to a different person who doesn't understand that it's not like a behind the back or windmill, whatever they might think it is, it definitely doesn't look as crazy as even like a two-hander. So I do get it. But
No, that's very fair. And like I was saying earlier, like with the crowd and having the dunkers around, having the dunkers see it is what matters the most to me. And I'm sure you guys as well, because they are the people that understand. And it's a whole thing with dunk camp, because dunk camp, in my opinion, those are like the most fun times of my life. I'm sure for you guys, it's pretty up there, especially the
100%.
first two. Like the first one, looking back on it, I'm like, I don't know if anyone I was around had a single conversation not related to dunking. And it was everyone around us as well. Like, it's constant. That's all we're thinking about. And it's like we're in Disneyland, but it's dunking. And it's like talking about the next ride you want to go on or the next dunk you want to hit. Like
100%.
It's everyone. It's so funny. Looking back on it, the first two dunk camps, especially since we didn't know each other as much, so we really only had dunking to talk about. Everyone there is autistic about dunking. It's the funniest thing, because it's like everyone like knows exactly all these little things, and everyone is just as like absurdly passionate about it as you are, and it's a great feeling, and it really is. And I just think that's what I care about the most with hitting a new dunk or hitting a certain dunk, even if it's a one-hander that looks nuts. Like, the crowd and other people on social media, they'll be like, "Oh, damn, yeah, that's crazy." But like dunkers will be like, "Oh man, you did a left-right plant there? You don't usually do that." Like we notice that type of stuff, and we understand that type of stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot more than a normal person do, because obviously, like you said, we're all addicted to it. We're all talking about it. That's what we all talk about, and we also want to see everybody succeed at what they're doing too. Obviously, there's competitions and whatnot, but the social media space part of it is like if somebody hits a new dunk, we're all congratulating, we're all happy for them, we're reposting, commenting, whatever. But then we can still have that competitive side once it actually goes to be a go time, like in a contest or something like that. But we're all just extremely passionate about it, and we all just want to see each other win at the end of the day. So it's always just cool to be able to have people like that, and that's basically what the dunk community is. So
yeah,
man, brother.
That's a huge inspiration for this podcast as well, because obviously having those 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days at dunk camp, depending on how long you go for, is great. It's really like the only time that a lot of us get to talk to each other. And that's why I love getting back in rhythm with this podcast. This is the second week in a row that we're back to filming like super consistently. That is great. I definitely want to just keep that up, stay on schedule, because I do think obviously fun for us who are on the podcast, but for anybody who enjoys dunking as well, I think better than some other random podcast. So that's the goal.
It also just goes deeper. Like we're talking about a lot of people's stories and come up of dunking, which they've never talked about before. Maybe like some of the bigger guys that have been in like interviews or other stuff, whatever. But obviously for us, it's like it was cool for us to start this because again, we're talking the dunkers about their career, and we've never even there's even some stuff about Nolan that I didn't even know about, like when he was playing when he was a little kid, or even his first dunk or anything like that, because he didn't have a video of it. So like hearing that for the first time is so cool, because I've known him for a couple years now, and then now all of a sudden I know that actually happened. But it's just very fun to come on here and do these, and that's why we love to do it as well. It's just because we get to see another side of dunkers than we normally see, like on social media or even in person.
For sure. I think you guys brought up a really good point about Hunter. You brought up a great point about everyone wanting everyone to succeed, because when I reported back, so my mom came to Utah with me both times for dunk camp. And one thing that I told her, like reporting back the first time, like the first day, is I started to notice like the dunking community and the dunking space is unlike any other in the world, because the one reason that stuck out to me is because everyone is supportive. Like literally everyone wants everyone to succeed. I'm sure there's like onesie twosies guys, but no one is, oh, screw this guy and screw his dunks, or I don't want to see him make progress. But there's people who hate like that in football, in basketball, in baseball, in music,
very big in basketball.
And think of any other community. There's a subsection of that community that's toxic or hateful. And especially in 2021, when I first went to dunk camp, I'm like, I didn't think that was possible for a community to be that great. And like I said, my mom is my biggest fan and her twin. They're both my biggest fans equally. They're identical to it's naturally. But I started to show them, and she knows some of the dunkers like by name and face, and they know her. And she's, wow, it really is like the perfect community. And it's hard for people that aren't in it to understand like truly how supportive it is, because obviously we're gaining more exposure, the dunk community is, over the past like 2 years, but it's still relatively unknown as a community. And the people inside those gates, everyone can recognize like, yeah, it is. Everyone is that supportive. Literally everyone is willing to give their best tips, to give their best advice. There's no gatekeeping when it comes to that. If it's behind a paywall, it's for a good reason. But still, if you meet Isaiah out on the street, ask him, hey, how can I fix this? As long as it's not like a long-winded answer, any dunker you ask is willing to help. And there's no other community like that at all.
Yeah, 100%. To go along with that is like when we had that, we obviously just saw that video of you hitting the win the first time with me. Like, obviously I was going for that as well. That was like one of my dream dunks as well. And obviously like in my head, like we're competing to see who can hit it. But like, even when you hit that for the first time, I was still, we've hit it before, but like first time seeing it in person, I was still going insane over it because you hit it.
You can see your reaction in the video.
Yeah, like even though I was trying to go for the same exact dunk from the same person, like going back and forth, you hit it, I still went insanely crazy over it because, again, it's an insane dunk. And I just saw you do something that you haven't hit in a couple years, that you finally hit again.
My first time.
That
are you talking in dunk camp or the first time?
No, the first time when we were with each other.
That was the first time I ever hit it off the backboard.
What? No.
Oh, you're thinking off the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm just saying like the win in general. Yeah. But yeah, just in general, I was extremely excited for him because, again, obviously he's my friend, first of all. But like at the same time, you could say it was like a competition because we were both trying to hit it. And he hit it first. I still haven't hit it yet. But again, I was still extremely happy for him because, again, it's Nolan. Like, he's my guy. And he just hit an insane dunk that you never get to see, rarely, ever. So yeah, this is the one off the wall that
I don't think a lot of people have seen.
Don't show the reaction. Don't show the reaction.
He threw up the jazz hands.
I am not ashamed by the reaction at all.
Dude, I wouldn't care. This is insane.
Can I tell the story of this dunk too?
Yes,
go for it. Yeah.
So I don't think so. This is an old post of it. When I hit this dunk, it was the night of Thanksgiving, and it was like 11 p.m. when I hit it. Because I was trying to hit it for 2 hours straight. And once I hit it, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. It was, yeah, that was crazy. And the reason I reacted so like crazy, or like, it's more shock than anything. Did I like trim the video? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
The first one I post, everyone was throwing up like the nails emoji. They're like, ooh, a little zesty celebration. And I'm like, oh, but at the same time, not ashamed of it at all, because I, like, you could see, I'm like, what actually just happened? Because that doesn't even seem possible in my mind.
No.
Especially for trying it for 2 hours. There's so many attempts where I don't even get a hand on the ball because that toss has to be absolutely money. The jump, look at how close it is to my leg. Yeah. You can, like, it's a matter of like centimeters. And if it's if it's a little bit lower, you can see how the ball goes in. If it's a centimeter lower where I have to catch it, I don't get that ball in. I just don't. Like you can see that it's very close. And after trying it for real 2 hours, that was a 4-hour session. 2 hours spent trying to get that win. And upon getting it, I didn't realize I made it until I see the ball go through, actually. Because putting my hand, like, there's some times where you can feel your hand starting to get close to the rim, and you already know in your head, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just hit that. because the thoughts go so quick. And when you're in the air, it feels like forever, especially with a moment like that. But yeah, like with that one, I just didn't believe it went in until I see it drop through the net. And it was just disbelief and shock. And it wasn't like a let's go. It was like a what just happened?
That's so funny.
Insane.
That's literally the exact same thing as my hide and seek, bro. Like I literally,
Yeah,
I noticed. I know your reactions.
My reaction's so funny. Plus, I didn't register that it went in until like it felt like 5 seconds after, but you can tell that I reacted right away. But it was like such a weird moment, just like you're
I mean,
just
with those dunks too, it's like they're 1 in a million. Like even people that are high jumpers and that can dunk very consistently, they're not hitting that dunk unless they really practice at it. Because it's just so technical. The pass has to be perfect for literally both. You're throwing behind your back and you don't even see the ball, and you're getting it to your other hand. The other one, you're going through your legs. You're doing an East Bay, but without your left hand. And you can see in a lot of Nolan's win videos, his hand gets actually really close to doing the East Bay. And like even when you hit it in Wisconsin, not the dunk camp, but when we first did it, Dylan actually texted me because I showed him. And he's like, did his hand touch that? Because again, your hand just gets so close. But again, from other angles, you can definitely tell that it doesn't. But like with those, you just have to have an insanely accurate pass just for it even to be close to dunking it. There's a bunch of Dylan's where you can see him. He gets it to his hand, but he'll throw it off the backboard. It'll go straight up because he doesn't have the pass perfectly. He still gets it to his hand, but it's not perfect to where he's able to actually dunk it. Same with you. Is you could get it to your hand, but it could go straight up because you lose it on your pinky side, your thumb side, whatever. Like those have to be freaking perfect for them to go down. So like those are all timing based and all perfect pass based. So it's just insane whenever you see one of those, and they're obviously very rare.
Yeah, the win off too is ridiculous. I need to hit that. I need to hit that this weekend, Hunter. Actually, you gotta help me.
I got you. I got the pass.
Yeah.
Nolan, have you seen the gym I've been dunking at recently?
Probably off the top of my head. Not.
I haven't really posted much from it recently. I'm super behind, so let me just pull it up real quick here, just so I can show you this wall, because this wall is wonderful.
Oh, you got a wall, dude. I wish I utilized the wall more. I wish I did. At UW Milwaukee, Hunter, you've been to this gym once or twice.
Yep.
We don't have a great wall to throw off of. We have that balcony.
Yeah, we tried doing stuff off that.
Play that again.
Yeah, so this is how close it is. Like, it is super close.
Oh, that is money, dude.
Yes, it's almost like too close, but it's like perfect, because if you just figure it, obviously, if you're used to a one that's further away, you're gonna have to kind of get used to it. But since I go here often, I'm like, this would be a perfect gym to figure this out in.
Nolan, the one thing too is I just dunked with CJ this past weekend, and I went to the Brookfield, Wisconsin Athletic Club, and they had a wall, and I was doing off the wall dunks. I tried the win. I actually got it pretty close to my hand, but I was just not jumping high enough for it. So that's one reason why I'm not attempting those right now. But if I go there again and I'm jumping like good, I'm literally spamming it because I want to hit that so bad. But dude, like having a wall, like I've only had a few instances, which is the wall that me and Dylan hit our best, not best dunks because he's obviously hit more, but his first East Bay, my first under both. That wall was a little too far to do it. And then barely. I don't really know what other walls I've really had a chance to even do stuff at. So it has to be always off the backboard for me. And then just having that pass perfect off the wall, it's just I haven't figured it out yet. But if I might attempt it this week and we'll see because I'm going up there. But I just have to jump high enough for it. But yeah, those passes are just insane to get down.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about it. Whenever I would tell people, and it also provided a realization that I'm a fiend for precision, not just with dunking, but I started to realize it in my life as well. This is going to be so funny looking back at it afterwards, but I'm going to bring up Rocket League. I love this. You can really feel and see precision in Rocket League.
100%.
And at the time I was playing it quite a bit. But that specific dunk, the one off the wall, when I would watch it back and all the missed attempts while I was trying to figure out where the ball should land, like going to the spot on the court and like trying to find a spot and then retracing on the wall. Okay, there's a skid mark on this wall. This is what I have to hit, but I have to throw it high enough because I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the wall doesn't go up infinitely high. There's a ledge that like they would hang banners on or something. So there's a certain amount of like power and height that you need to have when throwing it off the wall to hit that spot on the hardwood. And your foot has to be in the exact right spot. Because if I'm just a little too far away, once again, you saw the ball went through, it's not going in. If I'm too close, I'm under the hoop and then I'm like this, it's not going in. So everything had to align and it had to be precise down to the half centimeter. And it's that really does it for me. The precision, Dylan, your hide and seek, like it's for me, it's almost better seeing you barely squeak it in because it's like you don't have room for error. You don't like,
100%,
especially, and I absolutely love that because it really does show like how perfect it was. Like it's a 100% A plus down to the centimeter. And it's that part, especially for me, is beautiful. And like the win off the backboard at dunk camp, when I brought the ball over the rim, I did have a little bit of room. That one was crushed. And I almost look back at, not speaking of any external factors like the crowd, having my family there watch me dunk for the first time, hosting the first Wisconsin dunk camp, and excluding all external factors, I almost look back at the win off the wall more fondly because that had to be so much more precise. And I started to realize that I like that with other things in my daily life.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how dunking can really take over and affect your entire life. It's amazing.
That's one of the things about it's a very good thing and bad thing. And Nolan and I are slightly different. Hunter and I would say, are more similar in this, but Nolan is short and jumps super high, and Hunter and I are not exactly tall, but taller, and we don't jump very high. We jump very high compared to the average person, but not like super duper high. So it's like a great thing because a lot of the times when I hit new dunks, almost every single time I hit a new dunk, it's like couldn't have been more perfect because I literally don't jump high enough to crush dunks. And that's the very nice thing about like growing up and pursuing new dunks at the same time because I'm constantly like, or not constantly, but every time my vert goes up, I hit new dunks. It's not just like I've never hit an under bolt before, but if I try it enough today, I'll hit it. No, it's like it will happen because I've been trying it for forever kind of thing. And my vert happens to be up an inch today. So that's why it's going to go down. And so it's very fun because, again, like you said, it's very rewarding when you get those dunks to go down. But it's also very frustrating because if you're in a plateau, like you can't just be like someone like, actually, I'm not going to throw out names, but there are a lot of dunkers that jump like super high. And if they really wanted to, if I just coach them for a day, which sounds ridiculous because, again, they're super young, whatever. But if I just coach them for a day, they could unlock like 20 new dunks so easily. And that's just never going to be the case for me, which again is annoying when you're plateaued, but it's the most rewarding way to go about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Good point. I completely agree. I actually have a question for you guys. I'm curious. How many people have you, like in person, like one-on-one, how many people have you helped get their first dunk? People see you dunk and then they're like, hey, give me a lob. And they try and you're like, oh, do this. And then they try again. Then it's do this. And then they get it. Like that same time, like that one day that you help. How many do you guys know off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. But first dunks, I think there's maybe one or two, if I can remember. But other things are like people hitting new dunks that they've never even hit before or never even thought of hitting. So like this past session, me and CJ had a session, but then I had one of these guys that I actually took pictures for during the high school season last year. And because I knew he had a little bit of bounce, I was like, hey, you want to come out to a dunk session, whatever? And he agreed to it. And he ended up hitting a couple new dunks that he's never even attempted before because he just never knew the world about dunking. He just knew, hey, I know what a one-hander is. I know what a two-hander is, off the backboard, windmill, stuff like that. But then he ended up hitting a reverse, which I don't think he's ever hit before. He almost hit a pump, which he's never hit. There's a couple 1-foot dunks that he's hit too. So there's probably, I'd say close to altogether, I'd say probably close to 8 to 10 people that I've helped hit at least their first dunk or like a dunk that they've never even thought about doing in person, that from people that I do know to people that that was the first day I met them. But yeah, to go along with that, it's just like, that is honestly like obviously hitting new dunks and stuff like that are rewarding for us, but that honestly is more rewarding in my eyes because obviously that's our passion and we help somebody else do something that we've already hit before or whatever. And the amount of excitement that they get out of it, like it just brings joy to my heart because this is what we want to do. This is literally our life. So when we help them, it just makes the world go around. It just is the best feeling. Yeah, hitting a new dunk's cool, but honestly, that feeling, or like even like seeing people's first dunks at dunk camp, like that's honestly the most electric part of dunk camp is seeing people hit their first dunk ever at dunk camp. And that's where you'll see the most people like wanting people to succeed at dunk camp is when they hit their first dunk. Or like with Corey, especially when he hit his first dunk at camp and then he hit his first windmill the next camp. Like that's just crazy to have both of those happen in 2 years of dunk camp. That's insane.
No, that was the same year.
Same year, same session.
First
dunk,
I
thought that was
first dunk on day 1, first windmill on day 2 or something.
That's crazy. I wasn't there, but that's what I thought it was. But
this first dunk, he did that and then got a two-hander, right? It was like they were like almost back to back. He did
get a windmill that same week.
He did. Yeah. I just remember him getting his first dunk and everyone's, oh my God. And then a couple other people went and tried and he went again and got a two-hander, I believe. And people are like, dude, what? We're watching this kid like go up 5-10 steps on the ladder within minutes. And there's nothing like it. And Hunter, it's a great point because that was going to be my next question is how rewarding is that? Like, I feel the same thing and I've said the same thing. I have a video of me helping one of my childhood friends get his first dunk. And you can see in the video, both of us are in the video throwing him a lob. The excitement from both of us, you can see it. I could send it to you guys after and you could clip it in or whatever, but it's so rewarding. It really is. And especially when it's someone you've never met before and they come to you for this expertise and it's reaffirming, selfishly so, it's reaffirming for us being like, okay, we're dedicating our life to this and we really do know like what we're talking about. It shows that at least on the knowledge aspect, it's paid off. Even if you get one person to do it, man, that person will never forget that.
Yeah.
And you could help them reach that. They came to you for help and you had them. Some people I know started dunking after getting their first dunk, helping them. It's like you help people realize that dream that you had. And it's really hard to beat that.
Yeah, I got a quick story that both of you guys know this guy, and then we'll get into Dylan's side. But so Brandon, so obviously Dylan, you dunked with him. Nolan, I don't think you've ever dunked with Brandon, part of our dunk squad. I don't believe so, but obviously you know who that is. So I actually met him at Princeton Club, which is a gym in Wisconsin, and he was throwing lobs to himself and not dunking. So I actually went up to him and gave him tips or whatever, and then ended up, I don't know if I gave him my number or Instagram, whatever it was. But then I'd say 2 months later, he starts sending me videos of him dunking with the lobs. And I was like, obviously giving him pointers and stuff like that. And so just seeing that side of it, like from seeing it, because he's dunked before, but it was from somebody else's lob. Like he was just trying to do his self lob. So seeing that progression like that, and then he starts sending me windmills, and then he starts sending me this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, I start asking him to come to a session, and then he hits his first 360 windmill. He hits his first pump. He hits almost his first E-Spay, like all this crazy stuff. And Dylan even saw it too when we dunked in Winona. That was the same kid that was not even dunking or barely even dunking like a year ago. And like to see his progression from somebody that I didn't even know a year ago is crazy to me. So that was like another little rewarding thing that you just got brought up because of what you just said. But that was one that stuck with me for a little bit because, again, I saw him basically not being able to dunk to being able to do a 360 windmill within a year, which is just absurd to see. And like now that he's not really doing it anymore, but it was just crazy to see in person. So
isn't it just Dylan, like kinda, injury though?
I think he wanted to do more lifting stuff. Like he still loves dunking and whatnot, but I don't think that was just his passion. His passion was the weight room and like just researching a bunch of that stuff. So I think he kind of went more of like the training route and like getting bigger and stuff like that. I don't think it's like out of the cards for him, but I think he just wants to, again, do something else. Obviously it's still similar, but just not the dunking sides.
Yeah.
But Dale, I want to hear your side of this.
As for first dunks, I'm honestly having a difficult time remembering like a ton of specific situations right now, but I know that I've had a ton of people get their first dunk around me. I know that I've directly helped at least 3 people get their dunk like that same day, but I think I've probably witnessed at least 10 dunks outside of dunk camp that were people's first dunks. Not in the selfish way, but most likely just because they were around me and like some of the dunkers that I dunk with. I'm bad about this. I've been doing a lot more coaching recently. It's funny enough, I actually had a guy at my house like a couple hours ago named Isaac. Insane 1-footer. I dunked with him for the first time maybe like a year and a half ago. He was like doing some windmills and stuff. I knew him in high school. He had high jump. He was high jumping almost 7 feet. Really good basketball player. But he just never really got super into dunking. I knew him a little bit when he was in high school, but he was significantly older than me. So I never really got to play basketball with him or anything like that. But just recently I got him to a session and I taught him a lot of new stuff. Like I got him to get his first East Bay, he hit 2 of them that same day. They were both really solid. And I don't want to take any credit for what he's done since the last couple months. He's improved a ton. And today I got him to hit, I think 14 new dunks on on 9 feet.
Gosh.
And they weren't basic dunks.
Yeah.
Windmill off lob. That one's like the easiest one. East Bay off lob, Ziani, 180, East Bay 2-hand, J-Ridge 2-hand reverse, inverter, behind the back. I can't even name them all. Like he just did so many of them, and he's skilled, but it does definitely take. You see someone who jumps probably 40 inches off 1 foot. He's 6'3". He's played basketball, so he can move the ball, and he's missing like a 180 East Bay on 9 feet. And again, like this is where I think I truly am super helpful. Just recently, I feel like I've gotten like actually good at like, helping people with jump technique. Like my brother was outside the other day touching the rim, and I like kind of helped him for 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's grabbing it. I'm definitely getting better at that, but I do think like I truly strive teaching dunk techniques. Brooke is another example. I took Brooke from literally never touching a basketball for the first 15 years of her life to now being able to do East Bay 2-hand, J-Rich, inverted scorpion, like all these dunks that like a lot of guys that play basketball cannot do. And like this girl who's just been a dancer her entire life is like doing all this, almost dunking on 10. So of course, I don't want to take credit for it, but I do think that low rim and just hand speed work and stuff like that is where I'm truly, really good at coaching people. And so I've had a couple guys, I've got like a lot of videos of me like mic'd up coaching guys that I'll actually have coming out soon. The one today was super exciting. Hunter, he'll be at the session this weekend. So I just wanted to get some work with him in advance because, again, he's just an absolute freak that just has never low rim before. So I'm going to try to get him here more often. I'm going to be doing his programming, everything. So I just love helping people. Again, like you guys said, my main focus, of course, is going to be my own dunk journey just because I can't control things for other people. But when people like Isaac come to me and they truly show I want to get better at this, I enjoy this, then yeah, it is just as fun to coach a guy who is already good to be just like I truly think, not exaggerating at all, I've been telling him this for a year, but I think he might finally be starting to realize it a little bit. I truly think he can be a top 3 1-footer in the world within a year and a half easily. There's really not that many. There's Sutherland, there's John, there's Finn, there's Ben, but other than that, of course, there's plenty of guys. But like realistically, there's maybe 10 elite 1-footers in the world, and it'll be easy. And so that's where I just love doing it, is just helping people who are already good. But like first dunks, I've probably only helped 3 to 5 people like truly get their first dunk. But I do think people just being around me at my sessions helps a lot. Not me, just around the sessions that we do, because it's just a very fun environment. Recently, we've been in a more private gym, so we haven't really had much stuff like that. It's not invite only, like anyone can show up, but it's not just there's going to be random people that just happen to be shooting there. But when I used to go to like community centers and stuff all the time, people would just jump in and be like, what the heck? I've never jumped that high before. And I'm like, yeah, like it's a dunk session. Like most people perform better. So yeah, like you guys said, very rewarding. We are already going for a long time here. This is the horrible thing about like we said, like this conversation could easily go for 4 hours. So I do want to, unless you guys have any closing thoughts on that, I do want to get into some of your injuries and stuff a little bit. And then maybe in a couple weeks here, we'll have to get back on and film a part 2 and cover everything we didn't cover.
Yeah, I think we should, because
there's just so much, man. There's always so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have anything on the helping people thing, definitely go ahead. But other than that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing, like, I like what you said about how just kind of people being around it. Like most of my dunking with people came around being at UW Milwaukee in the college rec
Such
center.
gym, man. I almost went there just because of the gym, bro. But
yeah, no, it's a lot of times, especially when I was like sophomore, junior year of college, there's 4 full courts of basketball with 2 teams in the queue at each court. So after a game, anyone sees me dunking after a game, I'm trying to dunk as much as I can. I mean, come on. There's a bunch of eyes. It's fun. It's awesome. It feels good. But then someone else after the game starts to dunk, and then someone else, or tries at least. And it's infectious. It really is. And yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point.
Definitely. Yeah, I know. I don't really know entirely too much about what's going on, but I know that I honestly like didn't really know how into dunking you were just because I haven't had like too many conversations with you, but I can tell based on this conversation that like you are extremely into dunking. But obviously you know, you're not posting too much. You're not seemingly you're not dunking too often. So just kind of walk us through everything that's been going on injury wise for you.
You want another 4-hour podcast? Or no, I'm just kidding. Oh, is my camera frozen? What's going on here?
It turned off, but
there we are.
You're good now.
Yeah, oh, what's happening?
I don't know.
You're good now.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're good. But
yeah,
this is a lot.
Yeah, there's Hunter. There's even some stuff that I haven't told you just because.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man, where to start? I will say, throughout all of my life playing sports, I've always been very injury prone, and it's non-contact injuries, injury prone. So tearing my hamstring running a route junior year, the week before our first junior year football game, tearing my hamstring in practice, running a slant route, tear my hamstring. Middle school football, I chipped a bone in my hip doing kickoff. I played other positions, but I had a boot on me, just so happened to be. But doing kickoff, like swinging my leg forward to kick, like just chip a bone in my hip. Like what? I don't know. But there's a lot of injuries throughout my history of playing sports up until like I graduated high school. And I was known as like a player or an athlete who just gets injured. Like it just happens. And that remained the same throughout college. So I'll say the first real big injury that prevented me from dunking a lot, 2021 dunk camp, dislocated my finger, it was like a weird win into a transfer to the left hand, dislocated my finger, went to the hospital, came back with tape on and started dunking again. So that didn't really prevent much. But the first real big scary injury was in I think it was my senior year of high school playing football. I was warming up, going up for a ball, like in warm-ups, just running a route. I had to jump and I came down and it just felt like my spine crunched. I was like, oh, that was weird. I've never felt that before. And it just got worse and worse, like minutes going by, getting worse. And I just never felt that pain before. My entire back was like a rock, frozen solid. And that took me out for a couple games of football and never really got back to the same within that season. But then freshman year of college, chill, good, like I could dunk, whatever. And then sophomore summer, I started to develop a little bit of pain, like in my upper left butt cheek. It was a weird pain that I'd never felt before. It felt like it was buzzing, but it was pain. I'm like, this is just kind of weird. And it started to get a lot worse, like started to get really bad. And then eventually, like when sophomore school year, like the fall of my sophomore year of college, 2022, I believe, I developed some pretty bad sciatica, and I was bedridden for a week, 2 weeks. And at this point, it started to become way more than dunking, way more than, man, what am I going to do? Am I going to make a post on social media? It became way bigger than that for me because it affected the way that I ate. I couldn't sit down at the kitchen table to eat. I couldn't take a fat dump without almost like crying. I know it's funny, but it's real. Like it affected my life in a way that I'll never forget. And I went to a chiropractor, I went to doctors, I got MRIs, and it showed that I had 3 bulging discs. One of them was, it was like an almost herniation. It wasn't completely herniated, but or a partial tear in one of my discs, pretty similar. But there was a bunch of issues with my spine. There's a bunch of diagrams that I have. They're in my room somewhere, and I have pictures of them. But there was a lot of shit wrong, to be honest. And that, it was really hard mentally to really push through that. I was still trying to get in the gym as much as I could. And after I was going to my chiropractor up until I think it was Thanksgiving, the like week before Thanksgiving, because we have a break, we're in college, or me in college, had a break. And after that, like it continually started to get better. I would go in the gym, I would like train, try and strengthen my glutes, try and strengthen my hips and my back. And it started to get better. And I slowly introduced myself back into shooting free throws in the gym, wearing slides, just to make sure that I don't like start overdoing it, and slowly started to rebuild it up. And I eventually came back jumping higher than ever. And then I think like that winter and then that spring going into the summer, I think either me and Jeff had our first session together. That might have been summer of 2022, but at some point around that time, me, Jeff, and Hunter started dunking together. And all of my junior year, it was good. Like I was jumping the highest I've ever jumped. And but thing is, I stopped training in the weight room because I determined that this was just me, but I determined that the load on my back from squats was just destroying me. That's what was in my head. I believe this was towards the end of the second stint of me being on THP. And that's when this is not bad PR for THP, by the way. These are problems that I've had since way before them. They're great. Join THP. I'll ride or die for them all day. But it just wasn't working for me. And there's a lot of factors that played into it. I was doing the training exactly how I was supposed to every day. And my body just handled it differently than some of the other athletes that John and Isaiah had trained. And I'm like, I just have to take time to myself. I started doing my own thing just based on feel. It was based on all feel, like what made my body feel good. Okay, continue to do that. Does this make my body feel good? No. And take it away, like stuff like that. Got better. Junior year, jumping higher than ever. I still remember my highest jump. It was the first time Hunter, Jeff, and I think CJ was there at the UW Milwaukee gym. It was like one of my first jumps. It was a windmill.
I think I remember this too. And this was 2023, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously we were talking about 2022. This is 2023 summer now. I think this is like maybe July, I believe.
It's somewhere around there. Thank you for the time stamp. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I get the years mixed up, man. They all blend together. But so I remember that was my highest jump to date. I'm pretty sure, looking at the video, we all walked back. We're like, what was that? And it sucks because it got ruined because we were jumping on a bad net. It was a bad net. The ball went through and it looked like I missed, but it's because the net was like thick nylon or thick cotton, and it was just too small at the opening. So the ball went in and just bounced straight back up, but it did go in, but whatever. That's besides the point. So junior year, jumping the highest I ever had. I was running like pickup games because at UW Milwaukee, there's always games. I was playing intramural basketball. I was starting to post again. And my senior year, the place that I worked at, I was interning at the time. The place that I worked at had this like kind of work league. It wasn't a league. It was just like some dude sends out an email, be like, hey, we're meeting at this time today. Who's in? And I was doing that for weeks. It was February, but I had been doing it since like November all the way through the winter. And one day, it was February. It was like the first week in February. I remember getting there and my body was just feeling a little bit weird, but I'm like, I'll get into it. And I remember this so clearly. I was running up the court and I just fell. Like it was almost like my feet weren't picking up. And then a couple possessions later, I try turning a corner and I fall again. I'm like, this is so weird. I played basketball my whole life. Like, I'm not a clumsy basketball player. Like, I'm like, this is really unusual. And I wasn't slipping either. That's the thing. And I fell one more time. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's just one of those days. I got to leave. And nothing was hurting. But upon leaving, I just noticed there was like one spot in my kind of mid to lower back where it was hurting, like muscle. It felt like a muscle pain. I'm like, it's just aching. I've had back aches before. And obviously, it's sophomore year, I had the sciatica. So I'm like, I've dealt with back stuff before a lot. And this one, over the course of that night, or even driving home, it's a 15-minute drive home, but I started to like sweat in the car. It's winter. I started to sweat and I started like I swear like my body was just like straightening up because like my back was just locking up and I'm like, dude, this sucks. And it started to hurt a little bit more and more. And then when I got home is when it got really bad. Like I was just on the floor. I couldn't get up to shower. And I'm like, damn, dude, I'm really back to where I was sophomore year. And this time it felt way worse. And once again, it became way bigger than dunking, way bigger than anything athletically. And this one affected my life pretty bad. And it was like maybe 2 months of recovery, like just really taking it slow. And I had college classes at this time. Like I wasn't able to go to some classes. I had an intramural team that I couldn't play for, couldn't work out. That it was pretty bad. And then once I was recovered, I did the same thing I did sophomore year, the same steps to introduce myself slowly into working my body again. And I ended up being able to go play pickup games. I ended up being able to dunk in between games. And I'm like, thank God that was just a small blip because the one sophomore year lasted like almost 5 months, 6 months. So I'm like, wow, this was a quick turnaround. Thank God. And so after that day where I played pickup and I was dunking, later that week, I was feeling good, feeling okay again. And I decided to go play in the first intramural game. I'm like, back from injury, I can play again. And mind you, the previous semester, we had won the championship. No big deal. No big deal. Champs, baby. Come on. But so I came back to play again and I'm feeling good. I took a long time to warm up. Couple possessions go by at the start of the game and I'm bringing the ball up the court after the other team makes a basket or it was like a timeout or something. So we're at the baseline. I'm just kind of like lightly jogging, bringing the ball up the court. And then I get in like a low position to do it through the legs and explode. It wasn't like a hard explosion, like I'm trying to beat someone, but just to through the legs to set up something with a pick and roll. And it was a high pick and roll. And I cross half court and my body I just collapse because I just feel an arrow go through my back. And immediately I knew, I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is worse than the previous two. I thought the previous two were as bad as it could get. And this one, it really, I swear, I could feel my disc like rip. It like, I could just feel it. It was really bad. And that one, it was hard to get off the court. And my teammates knew that I had been dealing with injuries and they see it and they're like, oh no, that's not good. It was really bad. And I'm struggling to get off the court, immediate, like cold sweat, kind of similar thing to, I think it was 2025, I believe it was.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what time frame is this in now?
This is my senior year of high school. It's not high school.
College.
Senior year of college. Yes, thank you.
Is this 2024?
2025. This is this year. So it was like February.
Yeah.
And
I do remember this then. Yeah. Yeah. It's because I remember this is when we started talking. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. February and like March of this year. So maybe it was like a month and a half of recovery because I injured it a second time in March. But this one was really bad. It was like the peak of my symptoms in the past, but immediately. And it only got worse from there. This one, I've never been depressed before. I don't know like clinically like what that feels like, but this, I would have to say this is the closest I've ever been. I would say it is my rock bottom mentally, physically. I was once again just bedridden for 2 weeks. I had to eat laying down. Like there was a month or 2-month period where I didn't sit up to eat once. It was all laying down and couldn't go to classes, couldn't go to work. It was terrible. And not to mention just the actual pain of it. I just remember some nights being on my floor, just like audibly grimacing and not screaming, but just like because I just couldn't take it. There was no position that my body could be in without it being in pain. As much Advil, as much BioFreeze or whatever type of thing like that you would use, nothing helped. And at this point, it's when the thought of not dunking ever again crept into my mind, because I would much rather be able to eat at a table without pain than dunk again. And so it was, yeah, it was pretty bad. And I'm trying to think. I might have my dates mixed up, because was dunk camp in Wisconsin, was
That was 2024.
It was okay. No, dates are correct then.
Okay.
Dates are correct. Yeah. So it was just so bad. And like now it was starting to get into April and May. And it's, dude, I'm nowhere near a spot mentally or physically to even attempt going back to dunking. It just wasn't even a thought in my mind. 'Cause my life, it like changed, because upon injuring it initially, like the 2 weeks, I had to take 2 weeks to at least be able to get up and walk without severe pain. Then I could go see doctors. Then I could go see chiropractors. And this time got more MRIs. It was more effed up this time. And the medical professionals I was talking to, they're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't / can't do that again. And it was a shock to me, because like we've talked before, and from you could tell like how passionate I am with it. I like that was my life. It was.
100%.
I'm known by friends and other people's families as like the dunk guy. And other than my close friends, like I am the dunk guy. I don't have a personal Instagram. Like I don't post pictures of myself on anything. I have my dunk page and that's it. That is my life. And so upon that, all the doctors and seeing the MRIs and what this could mean, it did change my life. And some of the diagnosis came to be I had spinal stenosis, and it was the way that they described it to me, and all the information that I consumed was your spinal cavity is essentially closing in. So you have your discs, they're not touching the outside of your spinal cavity here. But when your spinal cavity starts to close, they can be your spinal cord becomes closer to your discs, and there's inflammation, and that cavity starts to close. And from what I saw and from what I read, you can't reverse that. That's just what I saw. And when talking to the doctors, that's what it was. And I'm like, okay. And I asked them like, how do you usually see this type of thing with the athletes? And they're like, you can see it, but yours is in the state of someone who's 55 to 65 years old right now. And I had multiple doctors tell me that. I went to a neurosurgeon, even though like they don't just deal with brain stuff like nerves. And they're like, yeah, no, you have essentially the spinal cavity or capacity of someone that age. And it's like, shit, what do you do? I don't know. That's kind of when it really set in for me that I might have to be stepping away from dunking. And I never made a post or anything, because I wouldn't say a realization, but for me, it was a realization that I could post about that. And sure, people would reach out. They'd be like, damn, like you can't dunk anymore. But what I started to realize is it's going to sound so bad, and it's not as bad as I'm trying to make it sound, but no one cares. They have their own journey that they're going on, and I never felt obligated to post and let people know, which is why my Instagram is so inactive. I you guys are on your own journey. Now, granted, Hunter, I've told you about this because one, being a closer friend, two, being a dunker that I've dunked with, but I never felt any obligation to post or say anything about it, just mostly because everyone's consumed in what they're doing. And rightfully, you should be. I'm not saying that you should care so much about what happened to my back. I'm not saying that. Like, it's just something I realized that, like, people are doing their own thing, and I just tried to fill my creative energy into other spaces. And that's something that's helped me because Duncan was my creative space. And then this is some of the stuff Hunter is saying that he doesn't know, but like I when I had my first injury stint in sophomore year of college with the sciatica, I'm like, I can't dunk. I need to be creative. I picked up making music. And since that day, I've never stopped. And it ramped up even more so in this recent injury. Music is my creative passion now. And it's not to say that I wouldn't ever try to dunk again, but still my body feels like it's recovering from that injury. And it's totally possible that it never will. It's also totally possible that I could work back to getting back to a state where I can, but I don't know if I'm willing. Maybe some people could say I don't love it enough. I love dunking, but I also love being able to eat at the table. I love being able to go out with my friends, not like going out drinking, but like going out thrifting to my friends without having to be like, okay, this place can't be too far away or else my back is going to start to act up. I like it. I like the freedom of not having to deal with that day to day. And anyone who deals with like chronic injuries at this point, it's chronic by definition, I'm pretty sure. Anyone understands that. And it's also another reason why Dylan, I would say Hunter too, obviously, but Dylan, you're much younger. Play the slow game, dude. Do it because you never know how much you miss it until it's gone. Truly. You just don't. And looking back at the videos, there's, especially when I was like going through it, a lot worse because I've not accepted the fact, but I'm at peace with it. I am, because my last true dunk session was Wisconsin dunk camp. It's a bang to go out on.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't think I could top that situation. First time dunking in front of family, hitting that dunk. I'm okay with that.
It's a good way to end, if it does end. But
yeah, but yeah. That's the whole thing is I'm not setting an expectation for myself, but if that is it, I'm like, damn, that was
yeah.
I'm like, I'll take that. So it's a really interesting thing. And of course, I still wish that I could go out and dunk every week. I wish I could go play pickup basketball and be perfectly fine and get a few dunks in after the game. But yeah, I just made peace with it. And I also never really liked posting on social media that much. Like it's very time consuming, right? If part of your passion is creating for social media, how long it can take. And I never really had the desire or passion to create for social media in that way. I just didn't. So there's a lot of lost dunk sessions that I have videos in my phone, but no one's ever seen the videos. Hunter, you haven't seen some of the videos. So I'm just not trying to do that. I don't know. If I had a little minion next to me who would do it, I would have so many videos out there. But
yeah, man, I don't even know what to say. It is a crazy story. I'm super glad we did that. I actually haven't done this for any of the other episodes, but I do want to probably just clip that entire story and just make it its own video as what totally, like post the full episode and then just post that as well, because that is, again, very unfortunate but just super unique. And
yeah,
you're great at speaking, dude. Seriously, that's great.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Hunter and I always tell people this, that we love long form content. You know, the old Dunkademics videos, or not the old Dunkademics videos, Dunkademics videos, old TFB videos, all that stuff. And we always encourage dunkers to make long form content. So I'm not going to encourage you to make a bunch of brain rot, but I do want to encourage you to do one thing. And I think this would even be fun for you. is to take literally every single dunk video you have and make like a crazy montage. I don't care. I don't care if it's 2 hours long.
Dude, it's gonna be longer than that.
Put it all in
my
a CapCut project. You don't need to keep every little rim grades you did here and there, but just especially like the super meaningful ones. Again, like literally if it's an hour long, that's great. I'll watch the whole thing.
I'll watch the
50
full
times,
thing,
bro.
dude.
I don't care.
I would say, Hunter, you want to make it for me, but at the same time, I would want you to see it in its entirety, just to watch it. But
I mean, I'll definitely help if that's something, but
it's
no, yeah, bro. I'm not even kidding. If you did that, I think that'd be super cool.
Dude,
and you can always reach
I don't
out
think
to,
you understand how many people would actually like watch the entirety of that. Because again, like you said, you don't post that much, and people love you. You're probably one of the most well-known people for having the best style in my eyes. Just off of right left style, like
totally
being that short, punching dunks every single time, legs flaring, arms flaring, like everything. Your dunks are very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Even if it's a simple one-hander, just the complexity that you make of a one-hander makes it insane. So I think a lot of people would like, even if it was like 5 minutes long, people would enjoy it just because again, it's literally just the dunks are crazy.
Yeah, go at least 40.
I know. I'm just saying though, in general though, people would love to watch
obviously, obviously, I'm trying to make dunking a career, and to do that, like social media is just kind of like an unfortunate thing that you have to do. Like obviously, I do enjoy it a lot of the time, but sometimes it does get repetitive and boring. But the one video that like I truly love making was just like a rewind of all my dunks last year. It was probably like 20 minutes long because I didn't keep everything, just like a few of my best dunks per session. And so literally, if you actually did like your entire dunk journey, it might literally take 2 months to produce the video. But just if you get some time here and there, man, I would love for you to just throw all that together. Obviously, a lot of it will be in 9x16, so you're gonna want to have the actual project in 16x9, and then do like the blurred background thing. If you don't know how to do that, Hunter,
so you're saying like having it landscape view, but it's in the middle.
Yeah, and then it'll just be like blurry on the sides of it.
I can definitely show you. Yeah, but
why do you recommend me doing it that versus portrait style?
It just for like long form content, it just doesn't really work well for YouTube. Like all the long form videos are within the other way. And then you can like watch it on TV and all that stuff. It doesn't have to be like all the way zoomed out, but like just zooming in a little bit to the point where it fits the screen and then blur the rest of it. Again, if you want to do it like properly and make it look super good, that probably like quintuples your time, but I think
I would need someone else to do it.
Oh yeah.
The thing with that too is you could crop it to being portrait mode too. So if you make it that way, you can just have a separate video of it being in the normal format that you recorded it in. But as in like long form YouTube, if you watch like you're into golf obviously, so if you watch like a good video that's like an hour long, it's obviously going to be in that horizontal format. And because a lot of people are watching on their computer, or a lot of people are watching on their TV now, so it's obviously a lot more enjoyable to watch something that's landscape that fits a TV rather than the portrait style 9x16.
Imagine like showing your grandkids that video though, like,
dude.
I've thought about that, man, especially because I would say the win at Wisconsin Dunk Camp is the best moment of my life. Like, there's so many factors, there's so much context.
Yeah.
And being able, not many people can say this, because this is our life, but outside of dunking, not many people get the best moment of their life on camera.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To be able to have that, it's not to say that
multiple angles too.
Multiple angles, yeah. And there's a story to it as well.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And it's a blessing to have that, and it is part of the reason why I'm at peace not being able to anymore, because I'm like, I don't know personally, I can't conceive a situation that tops that in my mind with
100%.
Everything considered. And it's not to say like you get to the top of the mountain and you take a helicopter and fly away and never actually go down, but I'm okay with how it happened. I really am. And being able to show your grandkids that, it's a good point, because you can make something that lasts forever.
Yeah, and to go along with that too is the end all is it was in Wisconsin, your home state. You had your family there. You had all your best friend dunkers there, basically. And you hit basically arguably your best dunk. It actually is your best dunk ever that you've ever hit. Yeah. It's just like that story cannot be beat as a best dunk that you ever hit. To have it be the best dunk you've ever hit in your entire life, be in a gym that's in your home state with your family watching, with
Plus
multiple
a couple
angles.
hundred people.
Yeah, like that's just it's like a Cinderella story. Like you can't beat that. So it's just like really cool, but also to go along with the story and everything that is like dunking is just a small part of your life. Obviously, like it's been a big part of your life, but that's a small portion. Obviously, you need to be able to eat, you need to be able to walk, drive, go to work, school, all that stuff. That's way more important than dunking will ever be. Yep. So to have that be like your goal of having that, and obviously you've surpassed that, at least from what I've seen, what I've talked to you about, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're golfing now. I don't know if anybody knows, but on his TikTok, he's been posting a lot of golf content. So you want to see that, go show him some love there. But he's able to golf now, which, like, again, a huge part of golf is your back. Like, your back and your core has to be very strong. And for him to be able to swing a club at, let's say, 100 miles an hour, let's just say that, because some clubs you're able to do that with. That's a blessing from what the injury that he had beforehand. So obviously he's not dunking, but he's still doing tasks that's very taxing on the body still. And that is a big portion of what he's going to be using in that sport, which is his back.
And it's creating as well.
Exactly.
That's why I started posting them, because I have to create somehow.
Yes.
I feel everyone needs to be creative in some capacity, because I fear that when there's too much, this isn't a really hot take, but I feel like it's not talked about enough. There's too much consumption. There's way too much consumption, especially in the younger generation. And not to sound like Unc or an old head, but it is true. Like, I have 2 little cousins who were at the dunk camp, and they see the way that I create by making the videos and trying to dunk. Being at that dunk camp for them, anytime they talk to me, they are the next generation of dunkers. My little cousin, he got his first dunk on 7 feet the other day, and can you believe it? And I'm like, no, you're insane, dude. Keep going. But there's too much consumption. And when you're consuming and never outputting energy, creative energy into the world, into the ether, there's just something missing. And that's at least how I feel. And obviously both of you guys are very creative. Hunter, photography, dunking, posting, Dylan, posting, even teaching. You have to be creative while teaching, because you have to pull a piece of knowledge that you've gained and create a way for each specific client for them to understand. Like, you're creating while teaching as well. And people need to create. You have to do it.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, man.
Seriously. And you can be creative in any space that you want. It's not just the stuff that we're doing as well. Right. You can be, like, obviously, like Nolan said, he got into music. Obviously, that's a huge creative space. But there's other stuff that you can do, being an artist, or, again, with my photography, videography, that's a huge creative space. There's so much stuff in this world that you can just go create. You just got to figure out what that is. And it's just so good for your mind, because it gets that moving, and it just, you get enjoyment out of creating stuff as well. Like, you're just like, oh, I just made this video and I absolutely loved it. I crushed it. Like, that just makes you happy. And obviously us hitting dunks and stuff like that makes us happy, but just being creative with making content, and it doesn't just necessarily have to be for other people as well. It can just be for yourself. Nolan has these videos just for himself. Like, a lot of the dunks that he has, nobody's seen before, but he has them for his consumption, and he's happy with how they turned out, because
it's a great point. I can relate that to the music. I have 150 songs that I've never released.
Yeah.
And I listen to them driving around. I don't. Yeah. It's for me. I don't,
exactly.
I don't go around telling people. I don't go promoting it. I put it on Spotify so I can listen to it in my own playlist. But it is for me. And when you create something for yourself, not worrying about the audience, that's how you find your true audience. Because people sense authenticity and they can feel it. So it's with your videography, photography stuff. Like, when you make a video that you really like, the people who understand that authenticity, they'll see that video.
They'd rather have you be authentic and be yourself, and they'll watch that 100 times more than you putting on a fake smile, putting on a fake act, whatever it is, just because it's you. A lot of these people, obviously, there's a lot of creators. There's millions of creators nowadays. But the reason why some people watch more than others is because of themselves, and like how they portray themselves in these videos or whatever. Yeah, obviously there's going to be some type of acting or script or whatever, but a lot of it is just because they like the person that they are and they like what they're doing. And that's all you have to figure out. And like, obviously there's people that have millions of subscribers, followers, whatever it may be. But even these people that have 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers, they're still happy with what they're making because they're being themselves. And that's actually honestly more, I don't know if you want to say impressive or whatever, but like having that low of a following and still doing it for the love of the game, that's honestly better than all these people like a Mr. Beast and all that stuff. Like obviously they're making money off of it and that's their job, but like I think they're getting, the people that are at a lower level are getting more enjoyment out of it than, let's say, Mr. Beast or these other huge creators, just because it's themselves. Like obviously they have some sort of a little bit of following, so like they have something to go for, but a lot of it is just because they started it for themselves and now they're just being able to make a little bit of a living or whatever it may be. So it's just really cool to see very authentic people in a creative space, and you just have to figure that out, and then that can honestly maybe be your job at some point if you're able to do it for long enough, and again you don't get burnt out and it's just your creative mind. So it's just, there's just so much stuff that you can do in this world. Just got to figure it out.
Definitely. Yeah, Nolan, amazing story, man. Amazing advice. I think this went super long, but I loved it. So definitely 100%. Want to have you back on just whenever. Want to see that video?
Yeah.
Let's make that happen, buddy.
Yeah, the documentary.
Literally.
Oh no, but yeah, dude, thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite. As soon as I saw the text from Hunter, I'm like, yes. Of course. Yeah, if you guys ever have a week where you're like, I don't know that, dude, ask me. Do it. See what happens.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One thing I want to end on though is let's just do a quick little summary of what your next steps are and like what your diagnosis is right now for your back and everything. Again, I know we've been talking a lot, but just make it as much as you want. But yeah, I just want to hear that stuff.
Yeah, of course. I'll try to make it a little bit quicker. Yeah, right now I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Like with golfing, I can golf multiple times a day and I'll be sore, but who isn't sore after golfing 36 holes? Like, duh. Definitely a little bit less mobile. I haven't been to the chiropractor, haven't been to any doctors because relatively pain-free, but I have been staying away from hardwood. I haven't jumped on hardwood since the day that I got injured in March. Like, that's a change in my life. Never had that happen. But yeah, man, I'm in a pretty good spot, especially mentally with the injury. Like, I'm like okay with a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do. And I do want to make I guess you could say, a comeback to more intense sports. Like I just played indoor volleyball at what's that place called?
Rock.
Yeah. I just played indoor 3v3 volleyball on turf. And it's funny because my best friend, Aiden, shout out Rups, he was with me. He invited me. And first jump, like first set, it was funny. Our team, like Aiden, he knows how I can jump, but his coworker is playing with us and he's, what was that? And even the other team is, wait a minute, what? So as far as like height goes and vert goes, I guess I still got it. I couldn't see like how high I was jumping, but it's not hardwood. It wasn't dunking, but I'm at least able to do that now and function as a member of society. So there's potential for me to be able to at least play basketball again, but as far as committing to dunking goes, it's tough. I do really enjoy this part of the dunking community because I can do that whenever. Obviously, have a mouth box on me, like I can go on for days. Obviously, so I would love to stay involved in the dunking community, of course, but yeah, there's so many different avenues to go down, right? So many different avenues. And yeah, I just love doing stuff. I don't know. Now I'm trying new things. I'm trying to get mics to record while golfing. And then, yeah, just trying to dip my toes into a bunch of stuff. I just love trying new things and trying to get better at it. And yeah, man, I mean, being creative, it does really come back to being creative a lot.
It does. I was just about to say that being creative is you're just going along these different avenues and you're just trying to create as much as you can.
Output versus input, baby. Yeah.
Sir.
But
yeah, it's great. Just again, thank you, Nolan. It was just a ton of fun. So if I would say everyone go check him out, but obviously that's not entirely your goal. But
check his old stuff out though.
Where can they find you? Where can they find you?
On TikTok and Instagram, it's Nolan R. Larson. Yeah, I would plug my music, but I want to keep it to myself. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe on the next pod. Maybe
you might have to send a song to me or something like that.
Yeah, I do have a third album in the works, so maybe that'll be a little promo. We'll see.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah, man.
As everything will be, as always, everything will be linked to the description. So make sure you go check out Nolan's dunks and all that. I'm gonna be texting you every day for the next couple weeks, trying to get you to
make that video.
Yeah, dude, it honestly might be the best dunk video we've ever seen ever.
Man, it'll be fun, man. It'll be fun, man. All right. Well, again, thanks so much, guys, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.
Of course.
Peace.